thanks for stopping by. This is Millie from Planners by Millie. Today I'm doing a tutorial on this budget planner that I just launched in my Etsy shop. It's a digital planner that can be used on GoodNotes. It's pretty easy to use, so with just one swipe, it'll take us to our index page, and here we can see our monthly tabs, which will take us to monthly, weekly, and daily planners. On this side, we have the more specialized tabs that runs through our budget plan for the year. So diving right into this, if you're new to budget planning, we can start with the financial plan tab. And that first takes us to different budget styles. And this is just so that you have an idea that there are different budget styles out there to suit different styles of different lifestyles. One that's interesting is the cash only budget, which means that when you get paid, you take out cash and you'd have an envelope for each expense that you have, and you'll put a certain set amount in there, and that's what you'll use for the month. Once you run out, that's pretty much it. And if you do choose to cheat and put more in, you can, but that's not really the point of the exercise. Another one that I thought was interesting, which kind of fits a bit closer to what I do, is the 70-20-10 plan. And that's not as mysterious as it sounds. It just means that 70% of your income would go towards your expenses, 20% would go to your savings, and 10% would go to a charity, or you'd go ahead and donate that. So once you've had a read through the different budget styles, it's time to start with our budget exercise. I suggest you complete this before you start filling in the monthly budget planners that I have inputted on each single month. You want to start off with budget exercise so you already have an idea of how much money you make and how much you spend before planning for each month in the future. For this, I suggest you go ahead and grab your bank statement or credit card statements, or both, to figure out first what your monthly net income is. And then step 2, you're going to figure out what your fixed expenses are. So fixed expenses are your monthly bills, like your rent or mortgage or condo fee, and phone bills, of course. You also want to include in there if you already have debt that you're trying to pay off, like a student loan. If you're doing monthly payments to that, go ahead and add that in. If you have anything that you're saving up for, like an RSP or TFSA, if you're Canadian and you have a monthly contribution, go ahead and add it to the fixed expense, because that's all money that's coming out of your income. And also, don't forget about subscriptions. So those are the most easiest to forget because they kind of come off automatically from your credit card. But add in if you have Netflix, if you have Prime, put that all into the fixed expenses. And step 3, we're going to subtract our fixed expense from our monthly net income. And what we get in total is called the discretionary income. And that's the amount that you can allocate to your variable expenses. So step 4, variable expense. This is a little tougher to get a handle of. So what I did is I created a specific page so that while you're going through your statements, you can go ahead and put in each item that you bought that month. And what's helpful is if you categorize them. So get all the grocery stores grouped together and, put it under the category groceries. So in the end, you'd know the total amount. So you see here, we spend about $100 each time we go groceries. So that's $400 in total. And once you go back to the exercise, you'll know that for groceries, you're going to put a total of $400. Instead of getting it all messy, there's probably not enough lines in here for all the variable expense anyway. I forgot to mention that if your income is not as straightforward as a bi-weekly pay, like if you have a side hustle from Etsy, if you're doing Airbnb, then I've also put in the income tracker sheet. This way you can, while you're going through your bank statements as the money comes in, you have somewhere you can jot it down so you don't lose track of it. And going back here, so we left off at step 4. Now we know our total variable expense. We're going to figure out now whether we actually spend more than we make. So once you subtract your variable expense from the discretionary income, you'll see here in this exercise, hopefully this is not the real figure, I am living above my means. I know for sure in the past I was totally living above my means, but since I started budgeting, I've kind of gotten it down a bit under control, much better than what it was before anyway. And if you are living above your means, it's not the end of the world. There is step 6, which will let you know that you should probably go ahead and have a little time to reflect on your variable expense and on your fixed expense. See if there's any wiggle room, anything that you can reduce, maybe eat out less. Gas is really expensive, so if you can avoid long drives or long commutes to anywhere. And then fixed expense is a bit harder, but for any subscriptions, those items are usually kind of optional items, so you want to see if there's anything that you can get rid of there. So give yourself a pat on the back. You've gone ahead and finished the budget exercise. Now we can move on to having a look at the current year. So we should go ahead and set up some goals for the year. And this page is perfect because it not only tells you to set up 3 goals, it also asks you, why do you have those goals? Because we shouldn't just save because everybody's telling us to do so. We should save for a specific reason. Like, how is it going to help us? How is having an emergency fund going to really help me? Well, if anything does happen, I will have something to fall back on. I won't be out in the streets. So that's how it benefits you is it gives you peace of mind. You don't always have to be worrying that, or if maybe you just don't like your job and you want to have some time to kind of explore and do things. You have an emergency fund there if you want to try something new. And paying off loans or debts, like for me, it's my line of credit. How will it help me? Well, I know that just knowing that I have that debt, it does cause stress, and it's kind of just nagging feeling just in the back of my mind that, oh, I owe this money, I'll never be able to pay it off. But, that's not true. Once you put in a good plan, you can be not maybe debt-free, but, have less debt. So that gives you peace of mind too, and less stress in general. So once we have our goals, we are going to create a clear plan on how to reach those goals. So for the savings plan, like emergency fund for myself, the total amount I want to save is $50,000. I've given myself 4 years to save up for that goal. Currently, I already have $20,000. And now I want to figure out how much I need to save each year. And I did put in this quick little formula that you can follow to figure out how much you have to save each year to achieve your goal within that time limit. And also how much you'll need to save each month. And the figure, sometimes it's kind of scary. You're like, I don't think I can do that. There's no room. But give yourself a chance. Don't be too frightened. You can always adjust this goal. You can give yourself a longer timeline. You can reduce the amount if you are reducing the timeline. And then you can also have a look at your budget exercise and see if there's any room there. Anything that you can spend less on so you can save up more for this goal. The same thing goes for our debt payment plan. We'll put in how much we owe, and I put in a separate line here for interest rates. this tip just tells you that generally you do want to pay off the higher interest loans before the lower interest loans. So try and keep that in mind. And this is how you can visualize it. So you'll know exactly what the different rates are and you'll know which one to prioritize. Similar to the little formula here, I've also put in a little formula you can follow so that you'll know how much your yearly payments should be and how much your monthly payments should be so that you can achieve your payment goal in the proper timeline. So yay for us, we've gone ahead and completed the yearly financial goals page. We know what we're saving up for, we know which debts we want to pay off, and we don't want to just set it and forget it. We want to track this throughout the year, and that's what these savings tracker and debt tracker page is for. The savings tracker will help you have a more visual understanding of how far you're getting along in your savings goals. And there's different styles. This one's pretty standard style. You'll just put in what this goal is here and then how much you need, what you had in the beginning of the year, and how much you're going to save this year. And you'll go along as you contribute and you'll fill this in. If you want a more visual way of tracking it, we got the mason jar design. This one is specifically if you're going to save up for a down payment or actually buy a house. And this one is my favorite one. This is for holiday savings because holidays come along and we kind of just scrape away at our credit card as much as we can, and then January hits and that's when the problem arises. But here we can set a clear goal. How much do we want to spend on gifts? And we can say, oh, each tree is worth $100. We'll fill in each tree as we save up, and come end of November, we're like, okay, well, how many trees did I fill in? Oh, damn, only 3. So we only have $300 to save up on gifts. So we didn't do that well. Now we'll have to get creative with the other gifts. But it's the thought that counts, right? Now let's take a look at the debt tracker pages. This one is pretty similar to the savings. It breaks down each of your debts that you want to pay off. And here you can kind of track them as you pay. We also have the same idea for a visual way to track your debt payments. Student loans are a big thing, I know. So you'll set amount for each hat. And this one's say $50 for each hat. And as you save, you go ahead and color that in. At the end of the year, you'll be able to see how much you've actually paid. And, it's a good feeling. We also have the same for the credit cards and other types of debt. Okay, so we've done our homework. We've done our budget exercise. We know approximately how much we make, approximately how much we spend. We have goals. We have things we want to save up for. We have debts we want to pay off. So it's time to dive in a little bit closer to each month. And here you can see the months of each year. It's easy to jump into it. You just tap on the link and it will take you to this nice minimalist design cover page. And from this page, you have the option to view different planners. You have your calendar. And this one is an undated planner, so you can use it from year to year. All you have to do is actually fill in the different days. I already started with this, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, February. Yeah, it starts on a Tuesday. So you go along, I'm already up to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It doesn't take that long to fill this in. And also it's good because here you have a monthly goals and goal breakdown section. And here you can put in some financial goals, but put in personal goals as well. And then this is where you can set up a plan for it. And just because, we're getting more focused on the environment in 2022, I put in an eco focus here. So if this month, maybe have a goal of really bringing in reusable bags to the grocery store. Just stop taking those one-time use plastics and then they go to waste. Or what I recently tried are the reusable Q-tips. and you just wash them and you can reuse them. They're made of some sort of weird rubbery material. It's been working out pretty well. So with this planner, I kind of wanted it to be an all-in-one. I didn't want to have a separate planner for just my budget, so I'm afraid that I'll lose track of it. I wanted something where I can put in, goals that I have for my Etsy shop, work from home times that I have in my regular job, and also keep track of my monthly budget all in one place. I wanted to see it all in one place. So I also created weekly tabs for this. So if I have a busy week, or I have certain items that I want to get finished that week, I can put it into here and I can write down each step that I need to do. Also, if it's a particularly busy day, I have daily planners set up and I can put in the date. I put in little things like what I'm grateful for, just to stay positive. You have your 3 main tasks. Once you figure out what your 3 main tasks is, then you go ahead and break it down by the hour. And these I really only use for really busy days. And since it's a busy day, I want to make sure to have a meal plan already available, so I'm not just eating junk on the run, which happens more often than not. But good intentions, we'll try to really work on that this year. Another thing I've included are habit trackers. It's kind of a big thing now. Before COVID, I was a regular yoga goer and I used to always do the 30-day challenges, and I really like that. And I feel like if you try to stick to a certain habit, for 1 month, like give it your all to try and do it every day, then it kind of really does stick with you. Even if you end up not doing it every day afterwards, it's kind of becomes more second nature. So for example, doing just 15 minutes of meditation, if that's too much, do 5 minutes of meditation before you get your day started. Just lie in bed there and kind of take the time to breathe in deeply. Just little things like that. And if you want, you can also put in your financial goals. So let's say you want to not buy Starbucks that month. That can be like a habit you want to make, because my current habit is to buy Starbucks almost every day or every week. So I want to not do it. So this is a visual way I can track of how good I've been. And if you fill it in, but you really had Starbucks, you're only lying to yourself. Don't half fill in something. Like if you only drank half a cup, that doesn't really count. This is a budget planner, so it wouldn't really be complete if we didn't have a monthly budget page, income and expense page. And I have something here, a cleanup page, well, I'll get into a little bit more. Let's start with the monthly budget page. This is very similar to what you did in the budget exercise. So you can see how it's beneficial to do the budget exercise first in the beginning of the year, because you can put in your expected income, your expected expenses, expected variable expenses. So you can track it with what your actual expenses were, what your actual incomes were, and what your actual expenses were. You can see how closely they match. And if they don't match, you're like, why didn't it match? Don't just write numbers in. Always take the time to kind of see, why did that happen? Maybe don't examine it every day, but at least by the end of the month, just have a look to see how good you're doing with your budget planning. To help you out, similar to the budget exercise, I've also included the income page that we had, and we also have the expense page. The only extra thing I've added for the expense page is if remember that thing I mentioned in the beginning about the cash budget, and I can't remember the actual name right now, but basically you take out cash and you set an amount for each expense. This is a way of kind of keeping track of how much money is left in there without actually having to, if you didn't want to actually take out cash, if you still want to pay by debit or with your credit card, you can actually just use this. And it's very easy to do. You categorize your expense like you usually would. So it'll be for groceries. And you want to put in when you put that initial deposit into this category. Oh, that looks terrible. But let's just say that we got paid on the 15th and we only want to spend 400 in groceries like what we did before. So this is your initial deposit. So we start with 400, and this is kind of like a running balance. Let's say I went groceries on the 20th and I spent $100. Where did I go? I went to Loblaws, and we'll do, oops, forgot. So you put a deposit, put a little plus sign, and then you withdrew, so you put a little minus sign. So you know you're gonna subtract 100 from 400. So currently you have 300 left. So that way you know how much is left, right? You can't be going crazy on the groceries. Like if you do go crazy on the groceries, check your cupboards. Maybe there's something left over. Maybe we don't have to go groceries yet. For this planner, I wanted to add an extra little something, something I don't see in a lot of other planners, and this is the cleanup page. And it's really a time to reflect not just on the numbers, but on the actual items that we've accumulated and actual like eco goals that we have, and also our own physical health. So we want to make sure that each month we're kind of reflecting on those things. And here I've just generically said it's minimalist goals. It can be anything. It could be whatever sparks joy goals. But review your cupboards, review your closets. Check if there's anything in there that you don't really need. If you don't need it, you can donate it, you can sell it. And then you know that that physical item, you don't need any more of that stuff because you've gone and got rid of it. Why would you buy more? So it's kind of like a more exercise kind of way to for when you're shopping, you can remember, oh yeah, wait, I actually did throw that out. Instead of just always looking at numbers and say, oh my god, I spent $100 in Aritzia, what did I buy again? This way you've done something like an activity that actually helps you to remember that, hey, I don't need any more of this stuff. Another interesting thing is the eco goals, because I know this might be a focus for most people in 2022. It kind of has a world ending. I've been watching a lot of those, doomsday kind of movies. But it probably, I don't know how much it helps, but we should all have our own little eco goal. And these are little prompts to kind of help you out. You can say for that month, you'll find a single-use item that you can live without. So as I said, the Q-tips thing. I've also tried out the NYX products. You can Google that. That's actually a very interesting product. And then you also want to look at overpackaged products. Like I noticed that I have these cookies at home that sometimes come in a box. Inside it comes in a plastic, and then in the plastic there's a little wax paper for the cookie to be wrapped in. So special, so cute, but really it's a little bit much, and it might be something we can live without. Maybe we can just bake the cookies ourselves, or maybe we just don't have cookies all the time. Speaking of cookies, we also want to keep track of our physical health. So this is more cleanup for your physical health, because you want to take care of that too, obviously. And these are just little prompts to remind you, maybe spend some time meditating, go outside, enjoy nature. Don't spend so much time on your phone, or maybe before you go to sleep, make it a point to not look at your phone for the last 10 minutes and getting into bed. And general health goals also, like eating less cookies. Okay, so we're moving along. I don't know if this is going to be a long video or not, but I guess I'll find out by the time that I make the video. But here we are back on the index page, and we've pretty much gone through most of these tabs. So these ones here, the habit tracker and cleanup, those are just the same ones that you see in your monthly tabs. It's just an easy way, if you don't want to have a look at the whole month, just to quickly jump to it. So if you go to your habit tracker, This is your January habits, and then you go to your February, and it's just with easy swipes, you can go move from month to month just to see how well you've done on those habit goals. Same thing goes for the monthly budget. If you wanted to do a review, and actually I should get into this because you want to just quickly see what your totals were for January, February, March, April. You can just go to that tab, and then here you can swipe over. You'll easily see what the totals are. And this is actually going to help you complete your year summary. So by the end of the year, you can put in all your total incomes for different months, all your total fixed expenses, and all your variable expenses. This is just to help you visualize how the year went. Was there more months that you spent a lot, or maybe, you were very good and you didn't spend a lot for the whole year? And then here is just your total discretionary income again. And then this one helps you calculate whether you lived within your means for the year, or maybe we need to improve for the next year. The second page to the year summary takes you to your savings summary so that you can see how far you've gone in your savings goal. This is actually really meant to help you for the next year, because in the end, when you do this little project here, you'll get the remaining amount to save. So that's how much you still need to save, and you'll need to know that for the following year when you're setting up your goals. So if it was a 4-year goal, we'll be doing this again next year. Same thing for the debt summary. That's pretty much it. The other pages here are pretty standard. You have your notes page, and I put in 4 different styles of notes, just lined, brainstorm style, list style, and a grid style. So click on the note style. There's only 1 page of this, but with GoodNotes, you can easily add another page. So that's not a problem. Same thing goes for any of those other pages. If you wanted an extra tracker, if you needed an extra expense sheet, you can always duplicate them. It's very easy to do. And then you can easily go back to the main page here. And if you just want to look at the notes in that style, so this was the original one, this is the second one, you'll be able to see it all in one go. Very last thing before I go is the contact list. And, that's pretty self-explanatory. You want to keep a contact of, maybe not your friends because they're already in your WhatsApp group. But for us, with the Airbnb, we have cleaners, contractors. Those ones aren't so easy to remember. So I like to jot them down. There's a notes section to kind of say, hey, these guys are good. These are not good. This one's made up. That's actually my husband's name. So that wraps up our tutorial for the budget planner. I forgot to mention, I did make different cover pages. Please check it out on Etsy. I'll put the link below. They're different minimalist designs that I think are actually very pretty, and I was pretty surprised that they turned out so well. Just a quick peek here. So this would be your February, March, April, May, June, so on. My favorite is actually December, so we're gonna have to click through all of it. Okay, and then cue exit music. Thank you so much for watching. I'll have more videos on how to actually use GoodNotes if you're a beginner. And I'll do some other tutorials as well. There's a new planner I'm working on, so that one will probably get done in about a month. So we'll see you again soon. Bye.